Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's New York Comic Con, day number 1. And that was Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders. And guess what? We've got a bunch of special guests up here on stage to talk about this. It's premiering tonight right here at Comic Con at 5:30 in the main theater. And then it will be released on October 10th for a one-day showing, in which case then it will go to digital. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a very warm welcome to Mr. Adam West? Our director, Rick Morales. We've got Michael Jelenic, screenwriter, producer, and of course, James Tucker, screenwriter and supervising producer, joining us as well. Woo-hoo. Gentlemen, how's your Comic-Con been so far?
Brilliant.
Good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Any Comic-Con you could spend with Adam West is a good Comic-Con.
Is it a good one? Yeah. Is this a unique experience then for you guys? Huh?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's in a big part of why all of this is here. I mean, he started the original sort of fanboy thing, and it's turned into all of this. So it's just great to be here.
Well, I love this idea. Take the animation that many Batman fans are familiar with, but then really bring it back to the heart and soul of what we got in the original Batman series. I mean, from the characters' looks, these actors and their characters that they portrayed have really been brought to life here, and I love what you guys have done.
It makes you wonder why we've waited so long, right?
Right. There are so many different things that you can do in sort of the cartoon world versus the live-action world, so I imagine that you had a lot of fun working on this.
Oh. Yeah, it was amazing. The fact that we got to do a Batman property with the original Batman is awesome. I mean, it's
classic.
It's just deciding on what to do was kind of difficult, but I think we came up with something pretty good.
So can you give us the quick rundown? I mean, we kind of got an idea from the trailer, but can you give us the quick and dirty on what we can expect in?
Lots of villains, lots of Bat gadgets, unique scenarios that they may not have been able to do back in the 60s in live action form, and hopefully fun.
Yeah,
lots of fun.
I gotta say, I'm looking forward to watching a Batman with that awesome, wholesome sensibility that has been missing, like with the Dark Knight, and he's all brooding and stuff. I want my like Batman who'll tell me to eat an apple a day, that kind of stuff. I miss that Batman.
Well, I think the original series and the comics would give a lesson, but with a wink, and so we tried to use those elements and come up with something that would feel modern. So you may notice Aunt Harriet's a little bit of a horn dog in this. I mean, there are little tweaks we did to kind of bring it to the modern times a little bit, but yet keep the integrity of the original comics and the show. So.
Well, and Adam, I have a question for you, because I feel like this is one of these projects that can't be done without you. So what was it like to get the gang all, back together and sort of have this recreation of what you, one of the things you built?
Well, Marcus, there's so many projects that can't be done without me. It was terrific, Marcus, really, because these gentlemen did a great job with, capturing the essence, the tone of our earlier serial. The mic, I almost swallowed that. And then what is happening later in society. So it's a wonderful kind of updated blend.
Right.
And retaining the homage, to the comics and to our show.
Do you think, that a project like this will introduce new folks to sort of that classic Batman that maybe they might have seen but haven't actually experienced for themselves?
Yes, we'll have more victims, right?
I certainly hope so. I mean, it's it's perfect for children to as a jumping on point.
I mean, I think people have forgotten that Batman could also be light. That there's this whole other version of Batman, and I think a lot of modern audiences don't realize how much winking and how much of the comedy was intentional in that old show.
Right.
I think some of the hardcore fanboys look at the old show and they don't realize that it was a comedy, and they think they were trying to do serious Batman, but I think this project will hopefully show these people that this is a completely different take, and it's just as good, and it doesn't take anything away from the dark Batman that we also love.
That's right. I'm just a funny old Batman.
No, the Batman the original series was by far the most comic booky. It had the panels with the sound effects and all that kind of stuff. And going back to what you said, like I don't think people remember it's called comic books,
right.
like funny books, Yeah. So I'm glad to see the humor brought back to Batman for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The idea is that everything in the show was actually in the comic. It was just heightened, and they literally did it exactly like it was in the comic book. So everything was heightened. So all the dialogue was spoken with exclamation points, and they literally took the comic, and so it became comedy because they didn't really change anything.
Right.
So.
Right. Obviously, with something like this, it's really hard to say, well, we have to choose a villain for this. So the best solution is to just have all of them work together, and that's kind of what we've got happening in the Return of the Caped Crusaders, right?
It was formidable. Scary.
Yeah, I think
Cruel.
you want to try to throw in as much as you can on a project like this, and we certainly did. I mean,
Yeah, you kind of it's a given. You kind of have to do that. So it's like the most iconic villains from the comics and the series, and a lot of the villains we know and love became popular because of the series.
Right.
So it kind of felt right to include them in the movie, and even honor their original origins in the comics. So, it was a no-brainer, really.
And it has to be really awesome to be able to debut something like this at an event like New York Comic Con where there's so many fans. And talk to me a little bit about that. So are you guys very excited for tonight's premiere?
oh my God, yeah. I think you work on these things for so long, and then they're birthed into the world, and you want to see what's the reaction. And
I know what it's going to be.
Do you want to give us a preview?
Yeah, I really know what it's going to be.
Yeah?
They're going to love it.
You're going to love it?
They'll be standing, applauding, shouting, cheering. Yes.
well, now
They're ready for it.
Adam West says it, so now I expect
it
that.
must be,
So.
right.
That's right.
No, Adam, I want to know something. Do you miss getting in there and mixing it up with bad guys?
No.
Good answer.
Better with women.
And then it will be in theaters on October 10th, which is actually also a really cool thing. So much respect for animation, so many fans of animation out there, but we don't get as much in the theaters. So although it's getting digitally released the next day, to have the opportunity to potentially go to a theater in your town and sort of experience it with other fans, it's a pretty cool strategy as well.
Yeah.
So is that, like the alignment of New York Comic Con and the date October 12th, is that just kind of work, or is it just your gift to the fans out there to be able to experience it in the big theater?
Both.
Yeah, I think it just worked out perfectly.
Yeah. And also The Killing Joke, which
Right.
is on the opposite spectrum of this movie. It came out and did huge just in 2 days. So there's obviously a desire from people. They want to see more Batman. As popular as Batman is, it's like people can't get enough.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to see you brought the eyebrows. Brought the eyebrows back to the suit. To the blue. Oh, those. I was hoping that they'd be in there.
5:30 is when the premiere is going to be. I'm sure that there are already folks lining up already. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
We're going to count them all right here. So we urge everyone to go and check it out if you already haven't made that a part of your plans. But we just have a little bit. Anything you want to say to the Batman fans out there who might be going to the premiere today?
The only thing I have to say is thank you so much for being such wonderful fans. And so Mike is killing. I feel like Miley Cyrus.
It's the next villain.
Just thank you very much for all of your loyalty and turning out every time we do something. This is terrific. You're wonderful people.
Rick Michael or James, anything you'd like to say to the fans out there?
Well, I think Rick did a great job with this, and I've always wanted to show a movie here. I've done San Diego, and there's no audience like a New York audience, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That's right.
All right, well, now James is just playing to the crowd, but that's okay. That's okay. No, that, absolutely. Definitely got some great fans out here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give another huge round of applause. Batman Return to the Cape Crusader. It's premiering here at Comic-Con at 5:30 in the main theater, and then releasing in theaters for a limited release on October 10th. Then you'll be able to get it digitally, but don't forget you can check it out right here at Comic-Con. Adam West, Rick, Michael, and James, thank you so much for joining us on the stage, and we've got a ton more happening here at New York Comic Con.